Guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about books. Yay! My favourite subject possibly of all time. Or is it superheroes? Got to think about that. So this video is going to be my first part in recommendations for books that are, in my opinion, amazing. Just a side note, my fringe is just, I don't really understand, so just be nice. Okay, just be nice to me. So let's get started. So first book is a franchise and it's the Harry Potter series. Harry Potter is, what can you say about it? It has everything that you need in a book. So the characters are compelling, the world is immersive, the humour is relatable even though it's about witches and wizards and things. It has witches and wizards in it, dragons, you know, it has, for me, it has everything. And the thing that I quite like about this series is that it glorifies school. So for me, nerd alert, but I loved school. I really enjoyed the kind of going back to school vibe, and these books encapsulate that. Harry loves being at school, and Hogwarts is his home. So for me, I go back to these over and over. You can read them at any time. They are, for me, they're an autumn read. I read these usually in September, October time. But brilliant franchise. Second franchise for me, and this isn't the first one in the series, but there is method to the madness. So it is the I Heart series by Lindsay Kelk. Now, I chose I Heart Forever, not because it is the first one in the franchise, but because I heart the I Heart books forever. Lindsay Kelk is one of my favourite authors. She is funny, she is concise, she creates characters that you find yourself agreeing with and nodding along with the stuff that they say and what happens to them. And, you know, they are very easy but very enjoyable books to read. They're just very funny. She is also from near where I'm from as well, so, you know, represent. Can't stress how funny and amazing these books are. The I Heart series. She has written other franchises as well, and they're all equally as good. I would definitely recommend her as a writer. Okay, third is not a book that it's not a book that I've heard a lot about, but it is phenomenal. I picked it up when I was a teenager, and it was, I remember it was from a library. Do you remember what they are? And they were selling off old books, and I was like, this looks pretty good. I'll grab it. It was like 29p or something, and it's a book that I can never ever let go of. It is such a good book, and it's the tribes of, and I'll probably pronounce this wrong, so please forgive me, but the tribes of Pelas Verdes. Basically, it centres around a girl. Let me just remind myself of her name. Medina. And her parents move her to the title town, and it's basically about how her and her brother deal with that. She starts to surf, and so a lot of the story is centered around her becoming a surfer, while her brother kind of takes a different route. Honestly, it's very short. So if you're not much of a reader but you kind of feel like getting into something because it's the summer, absolutely phenomenal. They did make a film out of it, I think it has Jennifer Garner in, but I haven't seen it because do you ever read something that you can't ever see it? You imagine it so vividly, and you engage with it in such an emotional way that you just like, I can't see someone else's interpretation of it. That might just be me, but this is one of those books that I'm like, no, it's just the book. There's no film. Not that I don't like Jennifer Garner, because I do, but I just can't see them being able to do it in the way that I imagine it when I read it. So, but yeah, this book, cannot sing its praises enough. I will leave a list of all of the books and the authors in the description box, not the comment box. That's for you guys to say whether you liked it or not. So yeah, if you don't want to have to rewatch, or you don't want to have to like kind of keep skipping, I will list them all in the description box. So my fourth choice for recommendations is this book, and it's called The Raging Quiet by Cheryl Jordan, and it's a really weird but really enjoyable book. It's set in medieval times. I'm just going to read from the inside cover, and it's basically about a girl who her husband is killed in an accident, and she's kind of shunned from society because people kind of think that she might have had something to do with it, and so she befriends this young lad who is deaf. So he doesn't understand why people don't talk to him properly, and he obviously can't speak to them because he's never learnt to talk. So that's why it's called The Raging Quiet, because it's all about how they then learn to communicate with each other. And it's such a good book, and if you have ever felt kind of alone or misunderstood, or like you don't have a place, then this book will probably speak to you, because it is about outcasts, and it is about kind of those two characters finding strength to book trend, I guess. Very good book. Fifth choice it's a weird one, because it's not a book that I necessarily enjoyed reading, I can't lie, but it is a very good concept, and it's a very interesting concept considering what's happening in the world right now. So I wanted to put it in, because just because I didn't really enjoy it doesn't mean that it's not a good book. So it's The Circle by Dave Eggers. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. And basically, it's all about technology. It's kind of about a company that specialise in tech. So they invent phones and computers and tablets and applications and all that kind of stuff. And it's just basically about how far will people go with their personal data? How far would you go to be connected or not connected? And it's for me, I think the concept is so interesting, and especially, like I said, when you think about how many things are moving to a digital platform or are being forced into a digital platform, it's a really socially conscious book, and it makes you think about just how much we share and how much you're comfortable with sharing. So it's a very, very relevant book, I think. My sixth, I think, is kind of in the same genre as The Circle, but in a different way. So it is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline, and this is all about video games. So it is set in a world that is dystopian. So I won't spoil it, but something has happened that makes the world kind of bleak and kind of dystopian. And people basically live or spend most of their time in a virtual game. And it's a bit like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory in that the creator of the game says, if you follow these clues and find my treasure, you can be the owner of the game. I'm retiring. And so it's kind of about how different people go about trying to win the rights to take over the gaming world. If you are into retro games, you will enjoy this book. If you are into kind of dystopian futures, you will like this book. If you are interested in VR, you will like this book. If you like 80s references. Again, they did make a film of this, but it's only a specific strand. So the film differs from the book in that I think it only really focuses on one character, whereas this is kind of a few different perspectives. So maybe read the book first so you've got a bit more of an understanding. Ready, Player One. My next choice is a book that I think I read in about 2 hours. I could not put this book down, and this writer is so good, like so good, and it is Everything by Nicola Yoon. Absolutely phenomenal book. Her second book, The Sun Is Also a Star, is also very good, but this is the one that kind of, for me, is it. I can't say enough about it. It's about a girl who has got severe allergies, to the point where she cannot leave her house, and she befriends her next door neighbour. And the book, let me just try and find you a good example. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that. So the book is done like this. So it's kind of done in like diary entries and emails and instant messages and pictures. It's not written as purely prose, which for me is so, I don't want to say clever, so I'm not going to. It's so effective. That's the word I'm looking for. It's effective. So she really manages to give you an insight into these characters and how they're feeling by the structure that she uses. And you, for me, well, I mean, I can only speak for myself, but I was properly like, what's going to happen? Oh my gosh, what's going to happen? And it's just phenomenal. So would definitely recommend this. They did make a film of this as well. It's okay. It's not in terms of the story, it's not too bad. But in terms of character insight, it's difficult because, not because the actors are bad, because they're not. They're actually really, really good. It's actually really well cast. It's more to do with the fact that because you are getting all the insights in the book through the emails and the diaries and things like that, it's hard to transcribe that into film. So if you just want the story, the film is very good, but if you do want that extra layer, then read the book as well. Okay, nearly there. My next book on my recommended list is Warm Bodies by Isaac Marion. Or Moran? Not sure. Yeah, it probably gets quite a bad rep, this book, because of the film. The film, a funny story when I went to go see the film. I loved the book. I'd read the book first. Absolutely in love with the book. went to go see the film, said to my husband, "Oh, you'll love it, it's got zombies in it, you know, it's totally different." And he was like, "Oh." We get there and it's full of like preteen girls or younger girls with their dads, and I was like, this can't be right, you know, like this book's really graphic and really probably not appropriate. And I said to my husband about it, and he was like, "Oh, you know, they know what they're doing." And the film comes on, and I was absolutely devastated. They made it so girly. It's so cheesy, romancy, and they really wussed it down to kind of use colloquialisms. The book is nothing like the film in that he, apart from the fact that she's a human and he's a zombie, and they're kind of on opposite sides, the book is far superior. It's all from his point of view, so he's very aware that he's dead, because how could you not be? And so it's him trying to come to grips with that and kind of woo the girl at the same time. It's part of a franchise. He actually wrote more. That was my... This is how much I read this book. That was a bookmark falling out of it. So I've only read, shamefully, I've only read the prequel, which kind of introduces the characters and things, but I do want to read the rest of the franchise because this is just, it's such a good book, and so different to the zombie genre that I've seen so far, and nothing like the film, so please don't judge the book by the film. Cannot stress how good Isaac Marien's writing is. Okay, next is Girl Online by, well, I say by Zoe Sugg, but I'll leave you to Google that for yourself. I really liked this book. I didn't really know what to expect when I picked it up, but it was I picked it up at a charity shop actually, which you know, it is what it is, but for books you can always get a bargain, I feel. This was practically new. It was, you know, it's a hardback edition. I think I got it for like £1. And I didn't really go in with any kind of preconceived notions or expectations or anything like that. I just thought, you know, we'll see what we can see. And I actually really enjoyed it. It was a really, really good kind of escapism, cheesy nonsense, kind of, you know, a rom-com but in a book. It centres around a girl called Penny, who has a blog, hence Girl Online, and she ends up going to New York, and it's kind of about what happens to her when she goes to New York. So, you know, it's very relatable, I think. I think that's the charm of it, is that even though it is slightly fantastical, in that most people probably wouldn't end up doing what she ends up doing, I won't spoil it. But Penny herself and the kind of characters that she interacts with, like her brother and her best friend and things, they are very relatable. You know, I remember being that age and dealing with that kind of stuff, and, you know, worrying that you had a spot on the day that you had to have your photos taken for school and things like that. So it is a really good book. I wouldn't necessarily recommend the sequels, but this one I have read a couple of times just because it's easy, and it is what it is. It's kind of like it's just easy going and happy and kind of, yeah, I like it. My last book, I don't have a physical copy, it is on my Kindle, but it's Nerve by Janine Ryan. just checking. And again, they did make a film of it. The book is phenomenal. The book, it's basically an online game of truth or dare, and the dares get progressively more hardcore. So it starts off with, flash a stranger for $25, and kind of progresses to hang off this building for so much money. And it again, very similar to The Circle. It's how far would you go to become famous? How far would you go for money? So it's a kind of psychological, sociological book, but it's also very, very entertaining, and very tense. You follow, I can't off the top of my head remember her name, but it centers around this kind of shy, introverted kind of girl as she goes through this process of playing nerve. So definitely would recommend that. The film is pretty good. It's very similar, but they do change the kind of middle bit / ending. So just be aware. She also wrote another book called Charisma. And the concept of that book is what would happen if charisma or confidence was something that you could bottle and sell. So she very much has the style of taking a concept like charisma, or confidence, and seeing what would happen if you put it into different marketable products. So, if you are interested in that concept, then her work is very, very much going to be up your alley. Can't recommend her enough. And that is it for now, guys. So I will be doing another book recommendation. So if you have enjoyed this, then please click the like button. If you want to see more of my ramblings and soon to be teachings, please subscribe, hit the notification button, and I'll see you all next time. Stay safe, drink coffee.